Right, so we have lots to celebrate here in California, believe it or not. Not always do Republicans feel like we have things to celebrate, but we'll get to that. I just need to know what you think about Kamala Harris first. She's sitting down for that first interview tonight. We know her very well in California, and she's been flip-flopping all over the place. What do you expect to hear or maybe not hear tonight?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I think it's interesting that she decided to bring her running mate with her. It's not something that I would have done strategically. I think it looks a little bit weak. Mm-hmm. I think what America was really looking for was a serious sit-down interview with someone that was going to ask tough questions. And I think Dana Bash is normally a pretty fair reporter. I don't think that there's going to be any huge controversial pushback on it. She's kind of very even keel. But I think Americans were really looking forward to having someone that was going to ask her the tough questions, push back when they got a ridiculous answer, and for it to be Vice President Harris on her own. And we're just not going to see that tonight.
You know, and I think, I don't know, speak to this from a female perspective. You're doing things that females don't always get to do, quite frankly. I'm doing things now that the same thing. And for me, if you're looking to break through a glass ceiling and you're into identity politics, as we know the Democrats are, showing up with a man to kind of give you support, it doesn't seem like you're sending that right message. And I want to know, are you going to have to bring someone to the table when you're sitting down with Vladimir Putin and President Xi if you can't sit down with CNN?
Exactly. You shouldn't need to bring a whoopee, and that's what it looks like.
I love it. The ultimate whoopee, Tim Walz. I think that's a great, great representation. So let's switch gears because there's a lot to celebrate here in California. Believe it or not, you guys have been doing a great job over at the GOP registering voters. We talked to Assemblyman Bill Asaley yesterday, and he was celebrating that very fact. So you want to update people on where we are with voter registrations?
It is incredibly exciting. You know, when I first took over as chair in February 2019, we were essentially the third largest party in the state. We were behind Decline to States if they were an organized party. More people were choosing Decline to State than were choosing Republican. We knew we had to roll up our sleeves and get to work. In that first 2 years, our vice chair, ex-California Republican Party, Peter Kuo, was our voter registration chair. Over the last 4 years, Linda Lopez Alvarez has been our voter registration chair, and this has been a great grassroots effort. And since then, we've registered over 775,000 new Republicans. But what's most interesting is what's taken place since October of last year. We now have 3 registration reports from the Secretary of State. It should have been 4, but she skipped one in June, where California Republicans have increased their numbers on registration, and Democrats have lost, and no party preference have lost. Republicans have picked up over 196,000 new registrations since October of last year. In that same time period, Democrats have lost 112,000, and no party preference have gone down about 65,000.
Wow.
We have gained registration in every single assembly district, every single Senate district, every single congressional district, and every single county in the state of California. This is big news, and it's a big deal.
So, and we're visiting with the California GOP Chairwoman, Jessica Milan Patterson. You can follow her on X at Milan Patterson. Chairwoman, I think what's really important is our strategy over the next 70 plus days as we make our way to Election Day. You know, things are going to heat up come Tuesday. It's going to be full blown election season after Labor Day. What are our strategies? Because we do have some laws that I know conservatives don't like ballot harvesting, but we need and early voting. I think many of us like to just go on Election Day, but there are different tactics that I think we can try that have been successful. And it's really important if the Democrats are winning playing by their rules that we have to do the same thing. So what do the next 70 plus days look like for you?
You're absolutely right. And this isn't just about leading into the election. We need to be building upon this. And that's why we've never really stopped. That's why these voter registration numbers are so important. We're looking at every single targeted congressional seat that we played in and won in 2022. Every single one of them has gotten better for us. And what we've seen also in the last 2 cycles is that while we may think some of these laws are terrible, if we allow the Democrats to run up the score on us for 3/4 of the game and we only play on Election Day, that puts us at a severe disadvantage. And so we have always since the 2020 election cycle played their same rules. In fact, we've gotten in trouble for it when we put ballot boxes inside of churches and gun stores and GOP headquarters. The Secretary of State and the Attorney General came after us.
It's the best trouble we've ever gotten into, Jessica.
Exactly. And I was never going to back down from that.
That's a good one.
What we have to do. We have to make sure that we're playing. We don't have an election day here in California. We have an election month. And we need to make sure that we are talking to our friends. We're talking to them about the issues that are important to them. We're talking to them about the candidates that will make a difference both in Sacramento, Washington, D.C., and in our local municipalities. And that's why we work so incredibly hard. We also have a phenomenal election integrity program. And in fact, many states around the country have asked the California Republican Party to train their people in their states when it comes to election integrity. We didn't start doing this after the 2020 election cycle. Our friends right here in LA County will remember Mike Garcia's race, which we won by 333 votes. Yeah. I promise you, if we did not have lawyers, staff, and volunteers watching those ballots, that's a place where bad stuff can happen. Out in the desert, we had our Palm Springs Assembly seat with Assemblyman Greg Wallace. He won that seat by 85 votes. We have poll watchers, poll workers, lawyers, election integrity chairs. Everybody has been working on this. We have trained thousands of election integrity volunteers this cycle alone. We are showing up, and now we have about 93.5% of all ballots being watched by lawyers, staff, and volunteers. It's a critical time. You have to have confidence in your elections because I can promise you the only vote that doesn't count is the one that is not cast.
Last minute here, a lot of people are interested in ballot chasing, in ballot harvesting. Is there a concerted effort by the GOP to implement a strategy on that?
There is, and we actually started this 5 years ago, and we continue it. We have a couple of different ways. You can do passive ballot harvesting, and you can also do aggressive ballot harvesting. We have our neighborhood team leaders. You can sign up to volunteer at cagop.org and be a part of our team that will go out and collect ballots. You can also put together parties of your own where people of like minds come together, you fill out your ballots together, and someone trusted takes them all to the county clerk's office. We are making sure that every single one of these ballots gets into the elections office.
All right, cagop.org. Sign up, be part of the process. Everybody, all hands on deck for this election cycle. The down ballot races truly are going to rely on you and your turnout. cagop.org. And Jessica Milan Patterson, thanks so much for being with us. Give her a follow right now at Milan Patterson. She is chairwoman of the California GOP. Have a great weekend.